investors listen to the feeling of wanting to buy because they've downloaded an intuition from lived experience that they need to buy when it feels the worst to buy. That's the key difference between a good investor and a bad investor. It's listening to instinct versus listening to their intuition through lived experience, through the pattern recognition database that they have downloaded from thousands of hours of making mistakes and learning and understanding what they need to not do. Okay? So that's what it's saying here. Because you need to understand that the brain is a very complicated, nuanced, and complex organ. I guess you could call it an organ. I don't know. Maybe let's call it an organ, right? It's so more complex than we can possibly understand. And the way that I like to look at it is that our conscious mind is only the very tip of the iceberg. The way that the subconscious mind works is so much deeper than you could possibly comprehend. Intuition is just something that we do not understand. Maybe there's some scientific studies on it, but most humans, and I think no human truly understands how gut instinct or intuition works. It's sort of a gray area. It's very complicated. But it's something that's so important for you to use, right? Because humans, and pretty much all animals in general, never really had self-awareness. And from what I can understand, I'm not an expert on this stuff, but consciousness is a component of self-awareness, right? We have the ability to have conscious thinking because we are self-aware. But most living organisms do not have self-awareness, and I think they don't really have conscious thoughts. They only have the instinct that they downloaded at birth, so the software, and then any of the apps that the computer has downloaded, so the subconscious lived experience of intuition, right? The animal knows that when humans jump forward, it knows that that's an attack, and it recognized that the last time it got jumped by a human, that it had to fly away or it was going to get picked up and eaten, right? That's a lived experience. That's a subconscious instinct to know to fly away. But the conscious thought, the animals don't have. So you can understand that, like, this is only a small new component of the human brain. The existing instinctual side, the intuition, and I said subconscious gut instinct, but what I really meant here is the intuition, right? The intuition, the lived experience is a much, much deeper component to making decisions, okay? And a lot of you guys, you ask me, and I really hate this question, Daniel, do you have like an exact process to finding the best investments? What's your step-by-step process? And I hate this question because it just reflects a lack of understanding of this concept of intuition. You know, the meme goes, but you must have an exact process for determining what to buy. Come on, there must be something exact that I can follow. But the truth is, just listen to your gut. That's all I do. I just listen to my gut. Right? And another way of explaining it is 99% of your research, it's just a surface level filtering process until your intuition identifies the good investment and pretty much knows that it wants to buy within 30 seconds, right? And the problem is, you guys really think this part is important, right? You're always asking for step-by-step research processes, but it's the research component is only the surface level. If you don't have the intuition to identify the good investment, then this stuff is sort of a waste, right? Because you don't have the intuition to recognize subconsciously what is good and what is bad. So you only rely on the very surface level research in the conscious mind. It's not a very good way to research things, right? The best investors have just this intuition that the thing that they've researched is going to perform well. And they also have, obviously, the supporting research, but the final decision was made by the intuition. Just like in that quote that I showed you before, right? All decisions need to be confirmed, or they need to be approved by intuition. You can do all the research at the surface level that you want. I can give you the whole step-by-step process, but unless you have this final component of approval by intuition, then you're not going to be able to do very good investing, okay? So how do you get the intuition? Well, let's go over that now, right? If you don't have a pattern recognition database, what do you do? Well, you have pretty much two options. You either follow the pro or you become the pro. It's pretty much all you can do. Now, follow the pro is basically find someone who's already downloaded a really good pattern recognition database, who already has a gut instinct for investing, and then do what they say. Now, this doesn't mean find your favorite Twitter guru and just copy their tweets. That's retarded. You need to work closely alongside the pro, okay? You have to work alongside the pro very, very closely so you can get their information as soon as they send it, and so that you can get every piece of information, not just when they buy, but also when they sell, when they cut the position a little bit, when they add to the position, all of this. And if you want to follow the pro, as in me, the pro, then I have a mastermind community which literally does exactly this. I tell you exactly what to do, and you can pretty much just copy me, right? You don't have to go through the whole crazy process of downloading a pattern recognition database. You can just use mine. So you either use mine, pay to use it, or you build your own and spend thousands of hours to build it. So you have a choice. There's no right or wrong decision, but if you don't want to spend 3,000 hours downloading your own pattern recognition database, then I'm right here. Okay? But let's say you wanted to become the pro. So let's get into that. How do you become the pro? Well, patterns are developed, the pattern recognition database is developed, and the gut instinct is refined. The gut intuition. Let's more talk about intuition. Right? Instinct is not as important. Intuition. It's refined after accumulating thousands of hours of relevant life experience. So, in life, you learn the most from the things you did wrong, from the mistakes you made. So the key is you want to make as many mistakes as possible with the least amount of loss per mistake. The problem with investors when they begin learning how to invest is they put in heaps of money in their first market cycle, but they don't understand that the first market cycle was never really, the one where you're supposed to get rich, right? You're competing against people like me when it's your first market cycle, who can basically spend 30 seconds and know whether something is good or bad. Whereas you have to spend hours and hours and hours. You can't compete with that. You can't compete with me. You literally cannot beat me, right? You take too long to decide if something is good or bad. Meanwhile, I can look at it for 10 seconds and I know immediately if it's good or bad. Because I've already done the work to be able to make fast decisions. So what you need to do is make as many mistakes as possible, as I said, reduce the capital risk per mistake so that you can stay in the game, because you have to be able to survive. If you take too much risk when you are in your high mistake-prone stage, you're just going to end up losing everything. Because 80% of the mistakes that you can make, right, 80% of the mistakes can only be learnt through first-hand experience. You cannot, you can watch this course and I can tell you what not to do, but 80% of the things I tell you not to do, you have to actually make that mistake yourself and learn it yourself. I cannot tell you, don't do this on everything and you can just magically avoid it. You have to make the mistake yourself. Because the amount of required mistakes means that without following a pro, you simply cannot put the win rate in your favor, right? At the beginning of your investing journey, it's near impossible to keep any profit because just the sheer amount of mistakes that you cannot avoid just makes it near impossible to not lose money, right? 80% of the decisions you make are going to be wrong. And so unless you can magically make so much money when you're right 20% of the time to cover the 80% where you lose, you're just going to end up losing money, which is fine because you have to pay a tuition fee to the market. We're going to talk about this in a later video. And it took me years to make money in crypto. I didn't make money till 2019, till the start of the bull market. Even into 2020, even 2019, I didn't do very well. I ended up making and then losing money. It was only really in 2020 where I started to do better. I had to invest thousands of hours to download a sufficient pattern recognition database just to minimize my mistakes to the point where I made more moves than wrong, more right moves than wrong, right? You eventually make so many mistakes that you know what not to do so that when the potential mistake comes up again, you don't make it, and you eventually just avoid so many mistakes that you make more right decisions than wrong, and then you end up in a profit, right? That's investing. Now, I really need to emphasize here that the 30-second mind, the intuition, is a quantum tool with unimaginable power that is unknown by 99% of humans. The more you lean into your intuition, the more success you will have in investing, in life in general, if you listen to your intuition, the most deepest, most complex, the most advanced, the most accurate decision-making process that you have, the more you lean into it, the more success that you'll have. Okay? Now, I think that is the end of this video. Let's have a look. Yep, that's the end. Now, again, I want to re-emphasize, you have two choices now. You either follow the pro or become the pro. All right? Follow the pro is my mastermind. I show you exactly what to do. We get you to 7 figures together. Or you get to 7 figures by becoming the pro yourself, which takes a bit longer. I chose this route. Right? There's no right or wrong answer. This could be right for you. This could be right for you. Okay? So that's the end of this video. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.